Hi Floss Tube, I'm Lori Chicalone and welcome to Once Upon a Stitch. Some of you might know me from commenting on your videos as Lori S. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about myself in this first Floss Tube, and I'll incorporate some things about me as we go along. I hope that this is my first time doing this, so as everybody else, I'm nervous, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm married to my husband Sal, and we'll be married in April for 39 years. I have two boys. James is 35, and he's with his girlfriend Amy. And my son Michael is 33, and he's married to my daughter-in-law Rebecca, who is an elementary school teacher. And I've been teaching her a little bit of cross-stitching of what I know, and she and I talk about it, and we sometimes get to stitch a little bit together, but it's not as much because she's very busy with preparing her for her school year and working through her school year. So we look forward to summertime when we can have a couple hours of stitchy time together. I am a quilter, and how I happened across this Floss Tube Nation is I was watching a quilt video, and I came across Carolyn Mazzeo's cross stitch video, and I said, oh, let me see what this is all about, and I got hooked. I watched her videos, and as she mentions other stitchers, I started going to them, and then they mentioned other stitchers, so I got totally hooked. I cross stitched maybe in the late 1980s a little bit. There was a store not too far from here, and I went in there and I made a couple of purchases. And my totally finished purchase that I had bought there and completed was from this pattern, Country Gallery, and it is by Barbara and Cheryl. And this is my finished piece. It has a sentimental value to me because though I stitched it, my mother and my aunt framed it for me. They stretched it and sewed it, and I remember seeing them doing that, and I was like amazed that that's how it had to be done. And then my uncle made this frame, so I have it in my craft room here with me now. It used to be in my entrance hallway when you first walked in, and so you know how you change things out, and that's what I did. So after that one, I started birth sampler. My son was already maybe 5-6 years old when I started this. Never finished it. This is the birth sampler. This is one of my oldest whips, and it's from American School of Needlework, Cross Stitch Birth Samplers, and this is the one that I chose to do. I guess maybe if I ever have grandchildren, I will look into finishing this. Then I found this Prairie Schooler, and it's St. Nicholas. Let's see, book number 20. And I says, oh, won't these be cute as little ornaments? So it calls for Davos, and being that I'm self-taught, I didn't know about different fabrics and threads and so forth. So when I was starting, a person said, don't use a hoop, stitch in hand. And that's what I had done. But with Davos, I felt that as I was pulling the threads, I was losing them, and I just gave up. I gave up. So when I saw Caroline, and I says, oh, I think I might have some stash upstairs that I can pull from and start stitching again. And that's when I found, oh, I didn't take that one out. Yes, sorry. That's when I found Fulton Mansion by Nancy Spruance Designs. This is a postcard of it in color. And I says, oh, this will be perfect. And this is the stitching that I got done in a week's time. And I started this in April this past year, 2017. And then I started hearing about Stitch Mania. And I was like so intrigued. A new pattern every day if you wanted to. So with that, I got a Country Cottage gingerbread series pattern and started it, but I couldn't put it down. that was the problem with Stitch Mania for me. I would get hooked and I never wanted to put it down. So I guess I didn't participate. In my head I did, but not realistically. This is the pattern that I ended up making with the gingerbread house. I don't have the pattern. I gave it away. It's a little like wall hanging. I have a stand that I switch it out. You would hang it through here and it would hang up for the holidays. And then from that, I and Caroline's, what she was working on, I started doing the monthly cottages. And I'll show you this season's 3 cottages. I've been working on them since July. July was when my son and got married, and I decided to do some smalls to put around the house as decorations to his wedding and heart, things like that. So I started then, but I'm going to show you the December cottages because we're in that season right now, or going through it. This was the December cottage. Again, it was for that little stand. Then this was the January cottage. And I displayed them on a table with other paraphernalia of this month. February, hearts, and things like that. So if you go to my Instagram, I'm lori.chicalone. I'll try and list it down below. I'm new, so I'm going to try. And I put the pictures of the tables every month there of how I decorate them. So please feel free to check it out. Then I said, people are working on HAIDs and full coverage pieces. And I said, gee, I don't know if I can do that. So I went on to the Mirabilia website, and they were offering some free patterns. And the first one I downloaded was Cherub with a Tree. And this is my piece, my finished piece. It's a small piece, but it gave me the taste of working on full coverage, and it was a 2/2. And I don't know what the fabric count was because it was just a piece that was in my stash. And I bought it at a fabric store, and I was just going to look to embroider something on it and maybe insert it into a quilt of mine, but I never did. And I had that fabric, so luckily it fit. And that was my finished piece. So along with that, I also did Nora Corbett. This is Zinnia. And this was a present for my niece. So the only place I have a photo of it is on Instagram. Okay, let me show you some finishes. Another finish that I did this year, and that was Jardin Prive. I saw McKenna doing this on her channel, and I just loved it. And it's the colors in my bedroom right now. So I said, I have to do this. And so I did that, and I finished all of them myself. It's very expensive to have it framed professionally, and so far I haven't done one where I felt that I didn't have to send it out, and I could just do it myself. And so and there's no fairs for me to enter here, so I've been doing it myself. These are 2 finishes that I had recently that I haven't finished yet. This is a winter band sampler from Country Cottage. I wanted to try samplers and stitching 2/2 again, so I messaged Lori from Mischievous Stitches and asked her, as a beginner for samplers, what do you suggest? And she suggested trying a Country Cottage one, and I did, and I just loved it. The next one I finished is the Cross-Eyed Cricket from the Cricket Collection, Easter. And this is Easter, and it's stitched on Aida. I believe it's 16 count Aida. And the color is Icon from Picture This Plus. So those are some of the projects that I've worked on so far. And these are my whips now. This is Plum Street sampler Hello, spring. I have a little note on here that I'm missing one of the colors that have been ordered, and I'm waiting for it to come in. Hello, spring. And being that I consider myself fairly new to cross stitching, it's called for 36 count, and see, it's a pillow. So I says, oh, this is great for a smalls exchange, but I forgot that I don't really do high count numbers because I don't see very well. That's another thing. I'm old. I am retired. I was a high school principal secretary in the town next over to where I live, and I loved my job, but it was very stressful at times with all the things that go on in a high school. So I retired last December. So I have more time to pursue my hobbies and things around the house, normal everyday things. So so it calls for 36 count fabric, and I says, well, I can, half of that is 18, I'll do it on 18 count. So I got the fabric, everything, and then all of a sudden I said, oh, this is a smalls exchange, it's not for me, and I know most people like smaller count fabrics. I'll do it on a 28 count. And as I'm doing it, I realize it's not a smalls anymore, it's a medium. This is how far I got on it. And you can't tell, it's on a very light green fabric. Then it dawned on me that 28 is like a 14 count. Learn from my mistakes. I definitely learned from my mistakes. So I'll have to start another smalls. I can't share it with you because it's going to be an exchange at a retreat that I'll be going to. The next one I'm going to be working on is for a cousin of mine. She asked me to make something for her, and I saw the Mirabilia had another cherub, and it's cherub with a bird. I know we're not supposed to show patterns, but it's a freebie, and I'll do it real quick. And this one I'm doing on 18 count Silvery Moon from Zweigart. I got it from my local LNS, which is Needlepoint Delight, and it's Needleworkers Delight, and I am about 15 minutes from the store. Very convenient. There are so many people on FlossTube that I watch, and I'm going to mention them, a few of them, in every video that I make, because otherwise I would just be mentioning their names. So the first one is Vonna Pfeiffer, the Twisted Stitcher, and here is how I made my project bag through her tutorials. And I made it with a meandering quilting stitch just to do something different. And this is holding my ink circles, Terrets and Town. I'm going to be stitching that on a 16 count Aida called Winter Blizzard by Silk Weaver. And it's a mottled gray and beige white fabric. It looks like it's coming out pretty clearly there. And I'm using DMC 939, which is a very, very dark navy blue. And the reason I chose that fabric is because on this one, I find it too busy where you lose all the stitches in here. So here is the floss. So it reads almost black, which is what it was calling for. So that's another project that I have that I'd like to start. And then my really favorite one I have is Plum Street Samplers Heritage Sampler. I ordered the fabric for this, and I was going to do this on 18 count 2/1, but I heard Pam from Steph and Pam Just Keep Stitching. Hi guys. And she's doing this, and I love it. She's doing it on, of course, a higher count fabric, and she says there's a section where it's 1/1, and that's in this section right here, and the flag, I believe, down here. So you can't do 1/1 on Aida. So thinking what I was going to do, I was going to maybe not do it at all. It dawned on me that I can do it on an 18 count, 2/2, and then when I get to 1/1, it will be the regular 18 count. So my LNS helped me figure out what size pattern I'll need for this. And so we ordered it, and I'm waiting for it to come in. So that is what I have so far. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I hope you enjoyed this first video. I will, if I get people that like it, I will definitely come back and do a few more. I don't know how long I can video on my tablet because I'm afraid that it's going to stop at any moment. So I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible this time so that next time I'll have a better feel. If it should cut off, then we're going to upload it and continue with the next video. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. I live in New Jersey, in central New Jersey, and the town is called Clark. Let's see. I had pets years ago. We don't have any anymore. As my boys were growing up, we had 2 miniature pinchers, Max and Princess, and they lived about 12 years, and then one got cancer and one got diabetes, and then it was a downhill battle for them. So yeah, it's very heart-wrenching. But right now my husband and I have no pets. We don't want to be tied up to the house to have to run back and let them out, dogs out, and it's a lot to take care of a pet, and we did that, and we totally enjoyed every moment of it. But I think now in our stage of life, we chose not to have any more pets. So that's about it for now. I am retired. I am 63. And my birthday is in April. I got married the day before my anniversary so that I could say I was still 24. Okay, that's it. I hope to be seeing you soon and show you some progress. If you have any questions, please link them below, write them up, and I will answer them in my next video. All right, take care. Have a great stitchy week, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.